and one of the main reasons you're here, John. So Nintendo Direct Mini. Um, so I'm briefly gonna just touch the games. So this is not a full size direct. This is a mini, but I'm just gonna briefly go over these and then we can discuss. So uh, the big title that a lot of people are talking about is Shin Megami Tensei 5. I probably said that wrong, but this is a Atlas. This is done by Atlas. And it's I don't know. I've never played these games, so I was hoping you guys would kind of delve into these this series, and then along with that, they're doing a remaster of three Nocturne HD remasters. So that's kind of big news for anyone into this franchise. I'm sure a lot of people are excited about that. Um, then they released Rogue Company, or not released, but they talked about Rogue Company, which is a new shooter. And this one actually I thought looked pretty interesting. And I'm a big first person shooter player, but Switch obviously doesn't have much in that genre compared to like PC or PlayStation 4 or Xbox. But this looks pretty interesting. I'm actually thinking of trying this one out. And then the prize of them all, WWE 2K Battlegrounds, um, definitely looks like a contender for Game of the Year. Uh, but no, that all jokes aside, this people were furious about this game, and we can we could talk about that a little bit. Um, and Cadence of Hyrule Season Pass. Um, and I was hoping, John, you could talk about this because you're a huge Zelda fan. And so here it says there's a character pack, melody pack, and additional story content from Symphony of the Mask. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, let's. Who wants to start off first? John?
I'll go.
Yeah, John.
Yes. As I said at the beginning of the video, I am a huge Nintendo gamer. I have been since the NES, and I'm the type of guy that kind of scours the internet almost on a daily basis to find any sort of new Nintendo news out there. I'm also the type of guy. I am the guy that literally takes the day off when E3 was still a thing and Nintendo had their presentation day. I would literally take off that day from work, order a shit ton of Chinese food, and just veg out, consuming all the Nintendo information that I love, and stuffing my face with greasy Chinese food. I'm that guy. So and I've seen every Nintendo Direct, almost always at the time they were occurring. So, needless to say, I am definitely one of the biggest Nintendo fans I know. Having said that, this Nintendo Direct Mini was a huge disappointment. After it's been the last full Nintendo Direct that covered Nintendo games in general, not just these one game specific directs, which are fairly common, was in September of last year. So it's almost a 9-month period from the last time they had a Nintendo Full Direct. So to kind of throw this upon us and give us an 8-minute video of 5 games, most of which aren't that interesting,
Yeah.
was a big letdown. Um, the the Shin Megami Tensei reveals were probably the biggest news of the direct, especially 5, because Shin Megami Tensei 5, I've never played the series either, but that was one of the first games ever announced for the Nintendo Switch back when it was still called the Revolution. So that is a big deal to finally get a date, at least a general date. And the 3 Nocturne, I think, is Josie mentioned this to me a couple days ago when we were talking about how this could be their big push to get more Atlas games popularized in the American market, and I think this is sort of their attempt to do so. The WWE Battlegrounds game, I have no interest in. I don't like wrestling, and the Cadence of Hyrule game. Honestly, I played a demo when the demo came out early this year, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. I think the graphics are great. I think the art style is amazing, and the music is phenomenal. In fact, sometimes I'll actually listen to the music streaming off of YouTube without really having any interest in the game. So I like that. I like the fact that this developer has such a deep relationship with Nintendo, where Nintendo will trust them with one of their most storied franchises to kind of create this unique game. But personally, it's just not for me. And that's after having played the demo for a few rounds or so.
Okay. Josie, what about you?
I agree with John for the most part. Cadence of Hyrule, I played it when it was Crypt of the Necrodancer, and I knew right away that I wasn't going to enjoy the game. So I've kind of just haven't even given it a chance because I've played the original, and from what I understand, it plays the same, just with Zelda skin, which, like John said, kudos to them, and awesome that Nintendo is letting a smaller company take the reins of one of their larger IPs. WWE Battlegrounds is definitely my game of the year. No. Here's a positive thing I can say about WWE Battlegrounds is the fact that they've scaled back the graphical push that they've had for previous WWE games. And by that, I mean they've just tried to port over what they did for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One to Switch. And the Switch would buckle at the requirements of what they wanted for WWE. And they've kind of, cartoonified it to make it more easier for the Switch to handle. And I appreciate that. I hope that wrestling fans will enjoy that too. That being said, I'm not really interested in that game. And then we have Rogue Company. Rogue Company, I'm not. It seems like isn't it Battle Royale style?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
There's like no story.
It looks like they're trying to get a new entry in on the Battle Royale scene.
Yeah,
I do want to on this
player. Sorry, John.
Can I chime in on Rogue Company real quick?
Yeah.
So it's not a battle royale as we know it compared to like Fortnite and Apex Legends. It's a squad-based game, so it's almost like Counter-Strike in a way. And I didn't know that. Like Josie, we watched it together when it was released. We thought it was a BR game when we kind of immediately wrote it off. But then I went back like yesterday and I looked at some content about that game just to see what it actually was on YouTube. And it turns out that it's a squad-based game where you dropped into an area and then you work with teams of 4 to kind of achieve some kind of goal. So it's a little bit different. And from what I've seen from playing the beta, there seems to be pretty positive buzz behind it. So like you, Gio, I am kind of interested in it simply from the fact that it's a free game to play. And I like some of the developers' past work. I think Paladins, which is like what is
like
that?
Overwatch.
Yeah, it's like Overwatch. And I thought it was a pretty competent game.
Yeah.
Pretty well-made, competent game. So I'll try it out for free. Why not?
Yeah, and so if what you're saying is true, then this game is more like Valorant. Have you guys ever seen Valorant?
I know what it is. I haven't played it.
That's the new
right?
Yeah, it's from Riot Games, the people who make League of Legends, and that's a team-based, squad-based shooter, and it's kind of like a cross between Overwatch, where you have like unique abilities and stuff like that, and Counter-Strike, where you have team-based objective, that you accomplish with like a tactical shooting game. So it's probably more like that. So it looks like the genre is headed more towards that. And, I think it's interesting. Hyperscape just came out. That's a free-to-play kind of team-based battle royale. It's very similar to Fortnite. That one just came out from Ubisoft. You know what? It hasn't come out fully. It's in beta, I believe. And I played the beta, and it was fun too. So yeah, I think there's definitely a place for a game like that on the Switch. And I just wanted to kind of like, I wish I had it, but did any of you see the WWE 2K game response on YouTube?
No.
It had some of the most dislikes I've ever seen in like a Nintendo video. But I think what happened was, like you, Josie, I was like, oh, you know what? This looks interesting because it's kind of got these cartoonish graphics. It's not like the other WWE games. But I think,
Yeah, it looks more
yeah,
arcadey.
it looks more like an arcade. It looks like a party game, like something you would just pick
Yeah.
up and play with a group of friends. Um, but I
Mm.
think people were mad because they were expecting more, like John said, from this Direct Mini. I think they wanted more. They wanted better games. They wanted more information on stuff that they were looking for. They weren't looking
Well, let me
for
cap it off.
WWE 2K.
Oh, let me cap off what I was going
Yeah.
to say. Rogue Company. I'm not that interested. I'm more interested in more single player first person shooters, like BioShock or Far Cry. Um, and then in terms of Shin Megami Tensei, I played Nocturne, like a third of Nocturne or half Nocturne, and I never beat it. So this is a good. I've been meaning to even play it again and actually restart. So now I have to wait even longer. But I'm pretty excited for that. That they have remastered the graphics and added voice acting. And to answer your question as to what type of game it is, it's a turn-based JRPG, a la Pokemon, but instead of monsters, they're demons.
Okay.
You collect demons. You fight these demons, and you have the opportunity to either kill them or collect them, and then they fight alongside you, and you level them up, and you even do demon fusions. It's a mature Pokemon game. That's pretty
Okay.
much the single sentence for that. And then Shin Megami Tensei 5 has Lucifer, and showed Lucifer in the video. And what happens is that Lucifer is one of the last bosses, or the last boss in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne.
Okay.
So a lot of people are speculating that this is a either sequel or spiritual sequel to 3, hence why they're releasing both of them.
Okay.
And personally, as disappointing as this direct is, mostly because of the delay in getting a direct at all, I am excited for these Shin Megami Tensei games. I am a collector of those games, and I do want to play them.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that makes sense. And I want to say, like, you were saying, like, or I think it was John that said they were trying to find a way to bring Atlas games to the market. There is kind of a following of Atlas games among fighting game players, like myself, because they make amazing fighting games. So it would be interesting to play like a different type of Atlas game. And I know they have other games like, is it Persona that's done by Atlas?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but they make great games, and you know, I like seeing. But it would, you know what? It would be interesting to see them to go into some other genres as well.
Well, so they did the rhythm game, which is like Dancing in Starlight, Dancing in Moonlight, and they've done the fighting games, and the fighting games were co-created with I believe it's the same developer that did Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Sammy? Is that Sammy?
I can't remember, man.
I believe it, but it's the same
Okay.
developer, the same ones that were behind Blaze Blue.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why they have that cross tag battle game. So it's not all just Atlas, and Atlas is a small company, and they're owned by Sega. So, you know, it is disappointing that they haven't made as many games, but they can only do so much, and that's another reason why they're hesitant to even port these games, because it does take a lot of resources to do so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that was a good covering of the Nintendo Direct Mini, and hopefully Nintendo learns from this one and they put out more, but with more substance.
Well, I will say that they did say that this is the start of a series.
Okay.
So this is the first one of a series. And keep in mind, if the pandemic wasn't a thing, this would have been included as part of a larger E3 Nintendo Direct, which would have covered their first-party lineup for this year and next year, along with all their third-party partners. I do give them credit for, as much as I kind of was disappointed with this mini direct. If they had put these out individually as tweets or just randomly threw it up on YouTube, it wouldn't have gotten the sort of attention that it has gotten out now that it's bundled together. That being said, putting these out on a regular cadence, and then at some point before the end of the year, hopefully I think August or September would be a prime time to put out a more full-fleshed direct with their first-party lineup, especially since there's nothing on the calendar year for the rest of 2020 from Nintendo. The last thing they put out was Paper Mario: The Origami King, and there's literally nothing else for the rest of the year. So what are they going to do for the launch of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X? Just going to sit on their hands?
Yeah.
There's something out there they're going to put out. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, you're right.
In response to that, in terms of PS5 and Xbox One, the only thing I can say is that they're not competing with them.
No.
And that's why they're not doing anything.
That is definitely an option, just to kind of let them fight it out and kind of buy their time while these two big giants kind of fight for each other, or for the consumer dollar. That is certainly an option. I don't know if it's the best option, but it's definitely an option.
It just all signs point to that option being the one that they're taking, especially with I believe it was a year ago that they've swatted down the rumor of a Switch Pro coming out anytime soon.
Yeah, and I do got to say that I think a Switch Pro would be good for them. It would definitely make it easier to port over more games to the Switch. And also, what about a Switch VR? I mean, I think that's a good option too, because the Switch,
They already have it. It's called Lapo, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Switch already has VR, but it's terrible.
Okay. What about
you're strapping a 720 screen to your eyes? It's not going to be good.
Yeah. No, I mean like a more like.
We already did that with the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, I mean like a PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Because they already got the controllers, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They already got the controllers.
I think that's more of a Switch 2 sort of upgrade as opposed to a Switch Pro.
Yeah.
Well, Switch Pro is expected to be like an incremental increase in power, kind of like the new 3DS and the new 3DS Plus or whatever it's called. Josie might know.
It was called New 3DS.
What a name! What a name!
Yeah. They shot for the moon with that one.
Yeah.
And it seems like they would have upgraded the Switch when they did the last Switch upgrade, which was, what was that for? Was that for the battery power or something?
Battery life. Yeah.
So that would have been a good opportunity, but oh well.